So due to The Mandalorian Season 2 being released, I thought it would be a great time to talk about a classic Star Wars video game. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, a game that came out in 2005 along with the release of the movie in theaters. However, the game came out a month before the movie released, so if you wanted to know the spoilers of this movie, then playing the game was the best option at the time. So, funny enough, just like Matrix: The Path of Neo, the cutscenes are just clips from the movies edited down for the video game all throughout. There are some cases where the game will use its own engine to tell the story as well, and thankfully they are just so much more bearable than The Path of Neo. They didn't bring back any of the original cast for the voice acting, but they did manage to bring James Arnold Taylor, the actor who voices Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars series, to voice Obi-Wan here as well, which I thought was pretty damn cool. So usually when it comes to video games based off movies, they usually don't tend to be the greatest, which is why we don't see them as much anymore, or at all, to be honest. But there were a couple of gems that did manage to make it work and gave us some great video games. And this was definitely one of those gems. Now, I didn't know if it was just me, or maybe the controller I was using, or maybe I was just better at video games when I was younger, but damn, was I having a difficult time getting through this video game. I honestly felt like I was dying every other couple minutes. Now, I'm not going to blame the video game for that too much because honestly, I just believe it was just me. However, the controls do feel a bit weird in terms of combat sometimes. Now, the coolest thing I found was the amount of different kind of combos you could perform on this game. Now, the thing is, the game doesn't really put you through too much of a tutorial at the beginning, which I don't mind, but it could have been a bit more descriptive on the amount of things that you could do instead of you just trying to figure it out on your own. It doesn't mean that I need my hand to be held throughout the game, none whatsoever, but there are some specific things in the game that you need to discover that aren't even in the combo list in the menu. So in terms of controls, you have light attacks, heavy attacks, and critical attacks. Now, you will always have, more often than not, be using your light attacks the most, but the biggest thing I didn't like was how the heavy attacks were pretty non-responsive as standalone attacks. I get that they are meant to be bigger blows, so it's going to take a hot second for your player to wind up and deal the heavy attack, but by the time you even manage to start using it on your opponent, they are going to hit you and knock you down. So I always found it to be better to just use the heavy attacks in combination with the light attacks because they seem the most useful there, which I guess was probably the main purpose for them. So throughout the game, you will be playing a mixture of both Anakin and Obi-Wan. While you defeat enemies, you have a bar that fills up on the consistency of how often you are defeating enemies. The higher the bar fills up, the more points you will be awarded, which you can use at the end of levels to increase certain abilities: force grabs, push, healing, critical attacks, and so forth. The thing that really bugged me about this game was the force meter. Now, I get that because it's a video game, you need to have things that are limited to you, or else you will just pretty much feel invincible at that point. But the thought of the force being limited to you seems crazy to me because it just doesn't work like that in the Star Wars universe. It's not limited to you. Now, like I said, I understand it's a video game, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But it does take forever for the meter to fill back up. And you could just be standing there for a good while waiting for it to fill back up just so you can throw your lightsaber to get through levels. It kind of just ruined the pacing for me sometimes. So there are a total of 17 levels in the game, 16 being the real ending and a bonus level that lets you play an alternate ending where you get to actually kill Obi-Wan as Anakin. That was pretty cool, honestly. Once you beat the game, you will still have a bunch of pretty cool things to do. For instance, there is a dueling mode where you can have another player hook in their controller and battle them in a lightsaber fight, which is awesome, to be honest. You have characters that you can use that are from the main campaign, and bonus characters like Darth Vader and Old Ben Kenobi. You can also do bonus levels that let you play as characters like Yoda or General Grievous's bodyguards. You can also view concept art throughout the game that you earn by completing levels. They are really awesome to look at, and also the cutscenes you got throughout the game as well. We don't really need to talk about how good the music is either. I mean, come on guys, it's John Williams, the GOAT. Need I say more? Nope. The only last thing I really want to talk about this game is how I really didn't like the way the camera felt sometimes. I wish you could control it instead of it just being a still camera that followed you, but besides that, it was okay at best. Guys, this is a really good Star Wars game, and I really recommend it for any Star Wars fan out there to play it if you haven't already. It is definitely a bit outdated, but I still think you may still find some enjoyment here to be had. Guys, definitely pick this up. You will not regret it. Guys, my name is Pedro Ordonez, also known as GameLight7. Please subscribe, comment, like, thumbs up. Do whatever you guys can to support this channel. Maybe we'll release a video talking about what we thought about The Mandalorian Season 2. We'll see how that goes. If you guys want us to see us talk about it, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we'll release something like that. Guys, I will see you next time in my next video. Peace out.